Sadhguruji, yoga is probably one of the biggest contributions that India has made to the world. But today, if I ask 10 yoga teachers about yoga, I get 10 different descriptions and often contradictory ones. Could you give us a basic, your take on yoga?
If there is a genuine exploration, then how many yogas are there? I must tell you a certain situation that happened. You okay for a story?
Definitely.
When Adiyogi was expounding
Okay.
the science of yoga to his 7 disciples, who are today celebrated as the Saptarishis, he told them there are 112 ways.
Okay.
When he said there are 112, Parvati, his wife, who was a witness to this, she said, why can't there be more? He was dismissive because he was focused on what he was talking. He said, no, there are only 112. But she is a woman, she wants variety. So she said, there could be more, maybe you know only 112. I will find it. He said, go, find it. So she went into profound austerities and sadhana for a period of time. Then she came back. He was still talking to these 7 disciples after many years.
Okay.
She came and sat 1 step below him. She's his wife, she could sit next to him, but she sat below him. This is a language between the 2 of them. She doesn't want the disciples to know. So, she's telling him she has failed. Then he looked at her and he said, if you are using the limitations of your physical existence, there are only 112. But if you transcend the limitations of your physicality, how many atoms there are in this universe? That many ways are there.
Okay.
So, if people have genuinely explored many dimensions of yoga, it's fantastic. But if people are coming up with contrived notions of their own because they want to leave their footprint, then that's very tragic. Which may be the case today with lots of people, but not necessarily everybody. When we talk about Yoga Sutras, Yoga Sutra means it's the thread. Now to make this garland you need thread. Without thread there cannot be a garland. At the same time, nobody ever wears a garland for its thread. So depending upon the competence of the person who handles the thread at a given time, he may add beads, he may add pearls, he may add diamonds, or he may add flowers. In the order of things, I'm putting flowers above diamonds, I want you to notice that. Because those things are valuable only in the marketplace, they have no value in terms of life. So, depending upon what an individual person has realized, accordingly he can make a garland and offer it to people. But the sutra or the thread itself will not change. So as long as you have got the grasp of the sutras and you add what you add to that sutra, it's perfectly fine.
You can make your own garland.
Yes, of course. So yoga is not a unidimensional like a method, it is a multidimensional method. You can evolve and render yoga in many ways. Initially when I thought this Isha Yoga as it's known today, there are days where that time the program used to be 14 days. Entire 14 days, I only spoke flowers or butterflies or motorcycles and nothing else. Even motorcycles, something as mechanical as that. I'm saying everything can be used as a way to break the limitations of who you are. Yoga essentially means, in some way, yoga means union. So that means in some way, you erase the boundaries of your individuality. You can do it by dancing, you can do it by singing, you can do it by whatever.
Yeah.
It is just that if you have the grasp of the fundamental, you can do it in every way possible. So, I'm disappointed You encountered only 10 ways. I would like you to encounter 1,000,000 ways of doing
No,
it.
I said 10 teachers. If
So there's no problem with variety.
okay.
Only thing is, if without the knowing the fundamental, just people are coming up with things just to leave their mark,
Okay.
those who want to leave their footprints, they must understand, if you are very focused on leaving a footprint, you shall never fly.
Now, June 21st is World Yoga Day as defined by UN. I think this is the first time UN has unanimously voted on having a day of this significance. How significant do you think this gesture from the UN is?
One thing is the day itself is significant because it is summer solstice.
Okay.
Summer solstice means the relationship of the planet with the sun, which is the main source of energy and it's the fulcrum of our life. People don't understand this.
Yeah.
It is a very fulcrum of our life, it is the basis of everything that is energetic on this planet. The relationship between the two will change because it shifts from northern run to southern run,
Yeah.
from Uttarayana to Dakshinayana, this shift is happening. When such a significant shift happens in the life of the planet, a similar shift happens in human body also. Because you may have grand ideas about yourself, but you're just a pop-up on this planet and you will pop out. The soil is patiently waiting.
Yeah.
You're just a small pop-up. So whatever happens to the planet happens to you. If you're conscious, you will know. If you're unconscious, you do not know. So every yogi goes through a certain shift within themselves consciously when this shift happens. It is just after this day, the first full moon day that came after this day is what is called as Guru Purnima because that is the day Adi Yogi decided to teach, the first Guru was born. Why is it so significant is, this is the first time in the history of humanity that human beings were made conscious that if you are willing to strive, you can transcend all so-called limitations of nature upon yourself. Whatever limitations that nature has set upon your physical existence can be transcended if you are willing to strive. If you're willing to strive, you can evolve. This idea for the first time was put into human consciousness on this day. So this day is very significant because it opened up a new possibility. People need not believe, this is how I am. Whichever way you are right now, it doesn't matter. If you are willing to strive, there is a possibility that you can hit the peak of your existence.
You are the primary speaker on at the UN. I don't know if it's too early, but what would be your message on that day to the world?
My message is never planned, I have to look at the people. But anyway, in this audience, we know who the people are. The ambassadors of various nations, the general secretary,
world leaders,
secretary general, all these people are there. So the important thing that they need to know is, politically, in various other ways, we are trying to integrate the world. This is the effort of the United Nations. Well, people can question how successful or not, but this is the fundamental effort. In this effort of integrating humanity on the planet, beyond nationality, beyond race, beyond religion, beyond all kinds of ethnic and other kinds of divisions that we have come up with, beyond all this, if you have to integrate, one fundamental thing that needs to happen is, a human being needs to experience that I am something more than this body. I am something more than my mental structure. My physiological structure and my psychological structure is my own making. There is another way to experience life beyond this. If this experience is brought to the world, integration of all human beings, not just of human beings, of all life upon this planet will happen effectively. The variety of problems that the world is facing in terms of ecological disaster that is looming large, healthcare and health disasters, pandemics which are threatening us, and always ever-existent threat of wars between nations and other people, all these things could be greatly handled If only we made this into a large-scale experience, that this is not the experience of a few exclusive people. If this is the large-scale experience of the humanity on the planet, if this is the experience of the leadership on the planet, we would succeed in this direction much better than the way we are doing right now.
Now on that thread, you talked about body and us, me. Now what is ego, or what does ego have to play in that?
You have a ego?
I haven't seen it, I haven't experienced it.
Then why do you believe it?
I'm not believing it, I'm asking you a question from what I have read.
No, you're asking what is something and you don't even know whether it exists or not. You ask me what is ting-tong, what am I supposed to say? I'll say ting-tong doesn't exist. Now, ego is a fall guy in everybody's life.
Okay.
When they do nice things, they say, I did it. When they do nasty things, they will say, Mr. Ego did it. That means you have two people inside of you. If there is more than one within you right now, it means you're either schizophrenic or you're possessed. You need either a psychiatrist or a exorcist because there is only one person.
Okay.
If you understand you're an individual means not further divisible. If you divide this further, you will become sick. You may think you're becoming spiritual, but you're actually becoming sick because this is an individual, you cannot further divide this. If you understand this is me, it is me, this me, in one moment able to act in such a phenomenal way, in such a grand way, in the next moment in a horrible way, it's the same me. If I understand this, a natural transformation begins.
Okay.
If you think whenever I do nasty things, it's that guy, this guy will never get fixed.
Okay. Now, about governance, like about governments, we have seen different kinds of governance, from king to tribal leaders to monarchs to, I think the most popular way of governance these days is democracy. Do you see something better than that, or do you… where does this…
See, democracy may not be the greatest way to govern.
Okay.
But the relief is every 5 years you can get rid of them.
Or keep them if they are good.
Yes. If they are not satisfactory, we can get rid of them. If they are, we can keep them. I'm saying at least we have a choice.
Okay.
With all the other systems we have seen till now, you did not have a choice. Sometimes some kings did fabulously well, some became tyrants.
Yeah.
All kinds we have seen.
Yeah.
Not all of them were bad, many of them did wonderfully well.
Okay.
All right? Even many dictators have done well, but you can't bank on it because you don't know who will come next. But at least here, you have to suffer them only for 5 years.
Okay.
So, this is a sure way that you can keep them on their toes because they're going to get fired in 5 years' time. At the same time, it has its problems because they know their term is only for 5 years, you also see a certain level of irresponsibility. I think if we want to be a successful democracy, we need much more education on the ground.
Okay.
That means people should vote on as per their individual choice. Who you vote for must be your choice. Who your wife votes for should be her choice. You don't have to have any say in who she votes for. But right now, on the basis of caste, religion and other kinds of ethnic identities, people are voting en masse. Once you do mass voting, then there is no democracy. It is feudalistic society pretending to be democratic. People come and ask me, Sadhguru, whom should I vote for? I said, I will never tell you. You vote for whoever you want. Because the moment I tell you, and if 1 million people vote for what I say, now there is no more democracy. This is the biggest problem. We have to raise this democracy to a place where every individual will vote according to his intelligence or her intelligence, not because they belong to a particular group. I'm saying right now, for example, in United States of America, I am a Democrat or I am a Republican is almost like a religion. It's pre-decided who I will vote to. There should be no pre-decision. Every time we should be willing to consider, whom do I vote for now? A committed vote is not democracy.
Okay.
A considered vote is democracy.
Okay.
We have to bring that.
Yeah. Now moving on to a different plane. Buddha is said to have got enlightenment under the Bodhi tree.
Don't look for a tree, there are not enough trees. I am planting now so that the next generation will have an office for enlightenment.
Okay. So my question is, like in recent times, scientists have said that they have made great breakthroughs in science through insights. They held the question long enough in their mind and they got the solution. Then they work out the theory or the physics behind it. Now, are these two comparable or?
From an age of dogma, we have moved to an age of information right now. We are little excited about information right now, but in the next 10-15 years you will see people will get bored of information. People will get burdened by information. We have to move from the age of information to age of insight. If we have to move into an age of insight, we must learn to activate other dimensions of intelligence within us. When I say other dimensions of intelligence within you, right now our education systems have a very constipated approach towards the human being. The entire education system is information-based and intellect-based. We are beginning to think intellect is the only form of intelligence we have. Intellect is a way of dissecting the world. This is useful to know certain aspects of life, but you cannot know someone by dissecting them. You will know only by including them. Intellect is not capable of this. Intellect can only dissect and divide. That is one dimension of intelligence. There are other dimensions of intelligence. In the yogic way of looking at things, we look at human mind as 16 parts and 4 segments. These 4 segments are buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. There is a dimension of intelligence which is free of memory, unsullied by memory. When I say unsullied by memory, no information, it's just pure intelligence. If you don't touch that dimension, you will not be above your times. You will always be a product of your times. When I say the product of your times, you will only mix and match in permutations and combinations of the information that is already there. This is called innovation, this is called jugaad in India. You are coming up with new things simply by mixing things. You can make with the same batter, you can make dosa, you can make idli, you can make appam, you can make something, you can make something, but essentially once it goes inside, it's all the same thing. But if you want to produce something new, you need to touch another dimension of intelligence within you. There are many ways to talk about this intelligence, but the simplest way to look at it is, what did you have for breakfast?
I had
They didn't serve
fruits.
you pottu?
No. Pongal rice.
And fruits.
And boiled peanuts.
Groundnut.
Steamed.
Groundnut.
Groundnuts.
So, you eat groundnut, over the morning, this groundnut becomes human body. There is an intelligence within you which can transform a nut into a human being. Maybe more nuts, that's different, but but even if you eat a banana, it becomes a human being.
Yeah.
So there is an intelligence like that within you. This will not come from intellect. Intellectually, can you transform a banana into a human being?
Can I ask if it's a mechanism or is it intellect? The transformation part.
Without a certain dimension of intelligence involved, can a banana become a human being? Are you genetically connected to a banana, I'm asking? By eating a lot of bananas in Kerala, you don't go bananas.
Okay.
You still remain a human being. What is that big banana in Kerala? What is that?
Ethica.
What's it called, huh? Nendram. Nendrapalam. Okay. eating banana in everything, but it still becomes a human being because there's an intelligence here which knows this is what it should do with it. If a cow eats a banana, it becomes only a cow. If a man eats a banana, it becomes a man. If a woman eats a banana, it becomes a woman, because there is a certain dimension of memory and intelligence in every cell in your body.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this cannot be done.
Yeah.
So, right now, you are capable of transforming a banana or a papaya into a human being. Only thing is you're not able to do it consciously. If you could consciously touch this dimension of intelligence, even if a drop of this intelligence became a conscious process for you, then your insight into the existence would be tremendous. Right now, our education system is destroying all insight, only intellect and information, because intellect cannot function without information. If you take off your memory, you may look like a very great intellectual, but if I take off your memory, suddenly you look like a fool. Without the backing of memory, you will not be intelligent. But the nature of the intelligence is such, it does not need any memory. This is called chitta. No memory in this, it's just pure intelligence that makes all life happen. To make that into your conscious process, people might have done it in so many different ways. In certain moments, they might have touched it. But here in yoga, we are talking about how to consciously be able to touch it. Many human beings have touched it and they've achieved incredible things in certain moments, but that has happened unconsciously or because of the sheer intensity of a certain activity. They might have touched it. But we can also touch it consciously. We have a method. In a methodical way, you can touch it. You can have a system through which you can touch it. If you touch this dimension, you become insightful. Insightful means you are beyond the information that you have right now. That means you are ahead of the age. That means you will be persecuted because nobody likes… fools don't like somebody going ahead in anything.
Even something we can't recognize.
You have heard about the Kerala crabs?
Yeah, I know.
Like that.
Yeah. Can this be called enlightenment?
No.
No.
This is just insight.
Okay. So, what is enlightenment?
Light essentially means, in human understanding, if I say I will throw light upon something, what it means is I will make you see it. Because visually we made in such a way, without light we cannot see. So the word enlightenment comes from this, that so much that you could not see, suddenly you saw. A complementary word for that is also self-realization. We said self-realization, not self-attainment, not an accomplishment. It is just realization. Realization means something that was always here and I did not see. Today I saw. You can only realize what is there. You cannot realize something which is not there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it is not an achievement, it is not an attainment, it is not some kind of climbing the peak. It is just that you suddenly realized you were so stupid that what was around you all your life you did not see, just today you saw. When you start seeing simple things, other people say you're enlightened.
Today morning I took a dip at the Surya Kund and I think I'm still flying on the energy I got from it. What is the science or what is happening there actually?
See, energy is on many different levels of function. Well, if you want to look at it at a very basic physical level, we can say there is electrical forces, there are electromagnetic forces, and there are various manifestations of energy. So life energy similarly manifests in different ways. To enshrine a form which reverberates with this energy, which is useful for us. See, lightnings are happening, lot of electricity, not useful for you because you're not able to catch it and charge your cell phone. Your cell phone goes fut. If you could catch it and charge what you want, if you could make light out of it, if you could make sound out of it, we would say we would be waiting for the lightning. It is the same energy, but you can't use it. Similarly, life energy is here in so many different ways, but you have no access to it. So now to create a source which will give you access to it, or source is not the word, probably a transmission center.
Okay.
See, right now, you know the electric transmitters. Near every town or city, there's a large transmission station.
Station.
They're not generating electricity, they're only transmitting. The way it is coming, they're making it into a more conducive way that you can absorb into your homes, and they're transmitting it. So similarly, this is not really a source of energy, this is a transmitter.
Okay.
It transmits what is already there in nature in a way that is conducive to you, in a way you can absorb, in a way you can experience. It is also in the air that you breathe, otherwise it wouldn't be making you alive. It is also in the food that you eat, but here there's a concentrated transmission of life energy or prana, which is hugely beneficial for one's health, well-being, vitality. Every day if you take a dip for let's say next 40 days, you may become 5 years younger than what you are.
Okay.
We can even medically check you and show you that it's happening.
It's like the fountain of youth.
Yes. Fountain of life, not youth. Because youth is not always good. Life is good, in whichever form it happens. Youth is just one form of life. But unfortunately, it's a Western fetish that they want to be young at any cost. Youth has become, or being young has become valuable because you have invested your whole life in your physical form. So, being in a certain physical form has become the only aspiration for people. This is not a healthy way to live. Old age can be great, yes, because you have an entire experience of life behind you, it can be really fantastic and you're free from everything that was ruling you at one time as a youth. So life, this is a fountain of life, not fountain of youth. But I'm saying you will become younger, that means more vital. Vitality is higher in the system. Generally, we have found even, some of the studies that have been done by University of California show that 3 months of a simple practice that we teach, which is called a Shambhavi, in 3 months' time, many people, almost 94% of the people that were the subjects of the study, were 6.5 years younger than when they started, cellular age. So, the question is not about how many years, the question is about how alive.
Now, I saw a lot of symbolism while walking through the ashram.
The coconuts and the arecanut and…
What's the significance of the snake?
The land belongs to them here. This is the land of king cobra. They are the original inhabitants of this place. We are just little bit of intrusion. So we want to live here in such a way that we are a minimal intrusion. We are not an overwhelming intrusion on their life. And apart from that, a snake is considered as the highest level of perception among all the creatures that walk or crawl upon this planet. Particularly a cobra is super sensitive in perception. That is why in yoga it is considered significant. This used to happen to me when I used to sit for long hours and meditate in some forest or jungle. If I sat there on an afternoon, I'm saying afternoon because most of the time for some reason I always sat in the afternoon. When I look back and see, I'm wondering, why did I always sit in the afternoon? I never sat early mornings. I sat either in the afternoon or in the midnight. So, in the afternoons when I sat, for a few hours and when I opened my eyes, there would be 6, 8 cobras assembled in front of me. They were just drawn to this meditative energy. We've always seen that wherever there is meditativeness, cobras will come in that way. This is why the yogis and the cobras and even the Adiyogi has a cobra around his neck. All this symbolism is because they were always drawn. They are sensitive to this energy. They don't have ears. So they put their entire body to the earth and whatever reverberation, they're able to perceive it better than other creatures.
At large, Uh, what would be your message to, basically before that, just as an introduction, architecture is supposed to be the mother of all art forms.
Ah. That only architects believe. Tell me what's the question?
Yeah, question is, because architecture in a way tailor makes the space around us, the space we usually live in, and the space has a lot of significance on you, the space you live in. My question is, what message would you have with your insight to architects?
Creation is the greatest architect. If you pay enough attention, there is phenomenal level of architecture in every leaf, in every plant, in every termite mound. There is a phenomenal level of architecture and engineering. If you pay enough attention, it's all there. You can copy it and people will think you're a genius.
Can you shed some light on what we are evolving into? What would be the zenith of evolution?
This question was asked 15,000 years ago, it's not a fresh question. The Saptarishis asked this question to Adiyogi.
Okay.
And he went into elaborate mathematics to show them how physical evolution for a human being is over. You cannot evolve any further. I will not go into all that mathematical exposition that he did, but it's uncanny that today neuroscientists in the world are saying something very similar. People are asking this question, is it possible in future that human beings can have a higher level of intelligence in their brain? Neuroscientists are saying, by the physical laws, it's not possible, because right now as you sit here in a restful state, over 20% of your energy is consumed by your brain.
Yeah.
Your brain is only this much. I'm sorry if I'm showing it too small, this much. Your brain is only this much, the body is so big, but 20% of the energy is right now being consumed by the brain, because this is like your phone with Wi-Fi on. It's consuming a lot of energy. If you make the brain, the two ways to increase your intelligence is to pack more neurons. If you pack more neurons, initially it looks like you're more intelligent, but there will be so many cross connections, there will be too much interference. You will see with some of the children, they are like this, they're super brilliant, but they can't sit in one place, they hop all over the place.
Hyper.
Now, unfortunately, to render business to the psychiatrists, parents are taking their children to psychiatrists and they prescribe medication. Almost every child is labeled as something, one of the alphabets or three alphabets from the entire alphabetical system. ABC, ADD, something else, something else. No normal child is anymore born in this world. Everybody has something, everybody some medication. What we need to understand is, the pharmaceutical, the way it is designed, if you put any medication to dull a certain aspect of an individual human being, it does not dull that particular specific aspect only, it dulls everything in the system. Now parents may be happy because the child has become little sedate, they have less work to do. They can watch the television, he's not hopping all over the place like a monkey. This is the wrong way to handle. If your child is hyperactive, the simplest thing that you can do is, you must understand, first of all, if you made a decision to have a child, that means it's a 20-year project. If you're not ready for the project, don't have children, because human race is not in danger. We are not an endangered species. If you were an endangered species, I would tell everybody, please reproduce. We are not an endangered species, we are too many on the planet. So, it is time we understand if there is a hyperactive child, We need time. We need to take him for a walk. We need to make him walk in the forest. We need to make him climb a tree. You only said from monkey you have evolved. Still primate things are there. He must climb a tree, he must do lot of activity, he must be exposed to nature, he must walk barefoot on the ground, he must work outside. If you do all this, you will see in 2 to 3 years' time, he will settle down.
Okay.
Because you don't have the time, you want to put a pill in his mouth and make him sleep. This is not the answer, you're dulling the human being. This is not an answer, this is not a solution, this is an unfortunate compromise people are making.
Okay.
So, when a child comes with excessive neurons, he will have intelligence but no clarity. If you have the patience, you can work him out of it. So, having more neurons is not really going to make you more effective intelligence. You may have more intelligence, but not effective intelligence. So, another way to do it is you must increase the size of the neuron. If you increase the size of the neuron, then your brain will probably consume 50% of your energy. That means your body will shrink and other functions will be seriously affected. So, due to physical laws, when I say physical laws, the physical laws in this world are determined by the speed of the planet's movement, the centrifugal force that is working upon it, and its nearness to the sun and various other factors. Physical laws are governed by the geometry of the solar system. So they are saying due to physical laws, it's not possible to increase the size of the brain. Adiyogi said this 15,000 years ago. He said, unless a dramatic shift happens in the solar system, physiological change in the human being is not possible, you have hit the ceiling. But you can consciously evolve. You have enough intelligence right now, if you only become conscious, you can evolve in a phenomenal way. So that is the only way for the human being. That is why the yoga day is very significant, because we are talking about conducting your life consciously, to sit consciously, to stand consciously, to breathe consciously, to eat consciously, to bring a level of consciousness into every dimension of your life, because that is the only way you can evolve. You wanting to evolve, wanting to grow a horn in the next whatever 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years is out, because the physical dimensions of the solar system are not going to change. If it changes, we don't know in which way we will evolve.
Okay.
Till that, due to physical laws, further physical evolution or physiological evolution of the human being has hit the ceiling.
Okay.
But consciously we can evolve and we must evolve.
Srinarayana Guru is one of the… he brought Kerala out of the dark ages and about 100 years ago. He professed it doesn't matter which religion you belong to as long as mankind improves himself. Could you shed us some light about Srinarayana Guru and its significance in today's world?
I know he did some groundbreaking work in terms of leveling the social discrimination that was of the times.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I personally do not know the details of his life.
Okay.
I know the general movement that he launched
Okay.
about temple entry and various other levels of discrimination. He kind of leveled it. It was a great moment of the times, but something very needed at that time, and I think still needed, because still the discriminations have continued. Maybe in a different way, but still continuing. So, we need moments like that. But more than the moment today, we have come to a place where laws are no more discriminatory. We just have to make sure laws are enforced at all levels of the society, that they're not just sitting in the constitution. It becomes a living consciousness of the country. The constitution of the nation, when it becomes the living consciousness of the people of this nation, then all these things will anyway go.
Okay.
At that time, there were no laws, the laws themselves were discriminatory.
Yeah.
So his movement was very significant for those times. If you launch a similar movement now, it will not work because the laws are already in place. We have to make it the consciousness of the people. The constitution should become the consciousness of the people.
Okay. Now, this is a question, it's not my question, but while bringing up a child, how would you punish the child to make him understand that what it's doing is wrong? Is there a way to punish, or is there a good way to punish, or?
I have not evolved any punishment systems. Why do you think a child must be punished, first of all?
Now, there is a lot of this thing about children being beaten in school, children being given horrific punishments in school, like…
See, that is because teaching is just one more job.
Okay.
And the teacher is teaching many classes in a day, handling 100 children in a classroom. He is at its wits, he or she is at their wits' ends, and they are doing things out of their frustration.
Okay.
That is the thing we have tried to change in this school, where none of the teachers are here for a salary.
Okay.
All of them are volunteer teachers. They're here because they want to create something.
Okay.
They're not here to make a living.
Okay.
That's an important characteristic for any school. That's an important characteristic for any spiritual teacher, that you're not doing it for a living. The same is important for a teacher, because a child is a precious part of our life. A child is the future of this world. So it is the most precious piece of life on this planet right now. Who should handle it? The most caring and committed people should handle that life. Unfortunately, it's just one more profession. So because of that, these things are happening. This is not happening because they believe in punishment. It is happening because they're frustrated by daily handling 100 brats. One thing is, we must only produce that many children in this country and in this world that we can handle gracefully and joyfully. If you cannot handle them joyfully and gracefully, we should not produce them. They're not knocking on our doors.
My last two questions. Do you have a message for the people of Kerala?
I know your slogan is God's own country. It's time you make it yours.
Okay.
Take responsibility for keeping it beautiful, keeping it hospitable,
Okay.
keeping it conscious, and nature has been kind to you. You learn to be kind to nature and the people. Everybody is right now pouring into Kerala because your campaign of God's own country has worked very well. It's God's own country, more than anything if it's your country. You must keep it really beautiful and wonderful.
Okay.
Because when any state or nation succeeds in being a success in tourism, it is one of the best things to happen if we conduct it well.
Okay.
That is, if otherwise we have to economically succeed, we have to build industry,
Okay.
we have to dig, we have to rape the land, we have to smoke, we have to do all kinds of things to run an industry. But if it succeeds as tourism, then you can keep the beauty of the place. The more beautiful it is, the better it works. So the people of Kerala must understand this. Beauty is not just in the natural aspects, the human beings that we are.
Okay.
Kerala, people of Kerala must come out as the most beautiful people on the planet, so that the entire world will want to come to Kerala because it's such a beautiful experience. I'm not saying it is not right now. I'm just saying we must be conscious of this and cultivate this.
Okay.
There is a certain level of politics happen, let politics happen once in 5 years. Don't make it a daily affair. Let your politics not happen on the street, let it happen in your mind and in the ballot box.
Okay.
Don't make your politics happen on the street because you will lose this status that people want to come there. There are so many reports of violence. We would like to see that is not there, and Kerala is really the most beautiful place where everybody will want to come. I'm just 2 kilometers to Kerala border, maybe I will cross.
Always welcome. And just one more question. Say hundreds of years from now, how would you like to be remembered?
Well, I would like that people don't remember. If people are doing great, If our work succeeds, they will not remember me. If it fails, they will remember me. Because you must understand this, if your children are successful and very happy, they may not remember you every day, and it's good. Every day they're thinking about their father and mother, that means they're not doing well in life, isn't it? Yes or no?
Okay.
Similarly, the future generations, every day they need not be thinking about me, that means they're not doing well. If they make use of what I'm offering to them, they can live in such a grand way, they must see me as their colleague.
What would be the legacy that you would like to leave behind?
That's why I'm saying…
That was the answer, right?
No legacy. All I'm doing is, whether they realize or not, some are established tools, rest are just without any official statement. I am leaving thousands of tools around me that people can make use of to enhance their lives. If they make use of that, and if their lives are truly enhanced, they are the living legacy. There is no other legacy. I don't want monuments and statues to be built for me.
Thank you very much.